Here's more wrestling news for May 26, 2022, and your headlines for this afternoon include why Nikkita Lyons is taken out of action, WWE called out for making examples out of Sasha Banks and Naomi, Matt Riddle blasted him for being a toxic perverter man, Mia Yim rips WWE for changing gimmicks just to fire talent, why Roderick's strong match was cut from NXT 2.0, Scott Steiner threatens to kill ex-WWE wrestler, Ric Flair is pretty sure Hulk Hogan will be in attendance for his farewell match, Britt Baker would love to wrestle Sasha Banks, why The Undertaker is afraid of cucumbers, get the off of him, details on RVD breaking up real fight between two former WWE superstars, Bully Ray says WWE should introduce Iron Man title, reveals who should win it, Thunder Rosa, I would love to defend the AEW Women's World title in Japan, but that's up to Tony Khan, and more. We are kicking off today with Nikkita Lyons, and earlier this week we reported that she is out of the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. It was announced on this week's NXT 2.0 that Lyons is out, and we now know what caused the popular young prospect to withdraw. Taking to Instagram, Lyons said that she suffered a partial MCL tear, but will thankfully not require surgery and is at home rehabilitating. For the tournament, Lyons had been replaced by Tiffany Stratton, who defeated Fallon Henley to advance to the finals, where she'll face Roxanne Perez at NXT in your house. The winner of the tournament will get a shot at the NXT Women's Championship in the future, but for Lyons, we're wishing her a very speedy recovery. Last week, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Monday Night Raw, forcing WWE to scrap their plans for that night's main event, as well as two championship programs. Since then, WWE have gone out of their way to bury the duo, calling them unprofessional and suspending them on live TV, and this shows no signs of slowing down. One person who knows both Sasha and Naomi well is Renee Paquette, and on her Throwing Down show, the former WWE commentator said that the treatment of the former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions is a message to the entire roster. It's just such a weird time in WWE where they are cutting people left, right, and center. I feel like people are really being made examples of as well, and that's the thing that sucks, where it's like, I feel like Sasha, Naomi are really trying to do a bigger picture situation here, and I hope that they are not nipped in the bud for that. For many, the consensus is that while Banks and Naomi may have been wrong to walk out, the WWE has taken things too far. But as far as Renee is concerned, this is all to stop anyone else thinking about standing up for themselves backstage. Speaking of problematic superstars, Riddle remains to be a focus on WWE TV, and while he's a fun-loving goof on screen, he does have some skeletons in his closet. Facing accusations of sexual misconduct in late 2020, Riddle said that the relationship he had with Candy Cartwright was a consensual affair, and recently, he divorced his wife of 11 years, Lisa. In the wake of his divorce, Riddle began seeing a new woman, Daniela Petro, but it appears that relationship is also at an end. Responding to a fan who thought they were still together, Petro didn't hold back in her tweets, saying, "I'm happy I'm not with the sick, toxic, perverted man anymore. You all don't know the evil he really is. I was blinded by love. I couldn't see it either. No disrespect at all for your sister, know that, but the amount of men and women, especially sleeping with them raw, just makes me sick, some as young as 18 or 19 years old, and the relationship I can't believe I was in, I'm still like, WTF, this man bent me so far he broke me." Riddle may be enjoying the push of his career on screen, but his personal life continues to be very messy, and we'll see if WWE issues a statement on these latest claims against the original bro. Last year, Mia Yim was cut from WWE almost a year after her last match with the promotion. Despite a solid run in NXT, Yim's call-up to the main roster was a disaster, and she doesn't want to see what happened to her happen to others. During a Twitch stream, Yim hit out at WWE's booking of Shotzi, saying that the SmackDown superstar doesn't even have her tank anymore because, quote, WWE likes to fix that isn't broken. When a fan responded by saying that Yim is angry, adding that she was released because she didn't work hard enough, the ex-Retribution member didn't take it, tweeting, "When you work hard for their ideas, do their ideas, and still get released, your statement is inaccurate." Earlier this month, Yim returned to Impact Wrestling and seems to be much happier in the promotion, and while her WWE career didn't work out as planned, it wasn't for lack of trying by the former Knockouts champion. On this week's NXT 2.0, Roderick Strong was meant to team with Damon Kemp against Pretty Deadly, but that match never happened. It turns out that Strong is dealing with an ankle injury, and Kemp informed the rest of the Diamond Mine about their leader's condition. There's no word on just how serious this injury is or when he'll be back, but with Strong having requested his release multiple times in the past, this could make for an explosive situation. Over a decade after his most recent match, which happened with TNA Wrestling. As one of the greatest of all time, facing Rick in his last ever match would be an honor for countless wrestlers, but one name who Flair doesn't want to face is Scott Steiner. That's at least according to Big Papa Pump himself, as during a recent live stream with High Spots Wrestling Network, Scott addressed Flair's return and the possibility of facing the Nature Boy. "Ric Flair ain't no old friend of mine. I would kill him in the ring. I'd destroy him. Yeah, everybody wants to see him get beat up." Flair himself recently said that this will be a tag team match including FTR, the Rock and Roll Express, and a mystery person yet to be named, but don't expect Freakzilla to be involved. Scott Steiner is no friend of Ric Flair, but one person who is Hulk Hogan, who was once rumored to be his opponent in July. Speaking on the To Be the Man podcast, Flair said the match won't feature the Hulkster, but he has been invited and is pretty sure he'll be there. Like Flair, Hogan is no stranger to controversy, but expect the former WWF champion to make his presence known at StarCast 5 later this year. Now today is day 10 since Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Monday Night Raw, and the pair have earned condemnation from WWE, but also support outside the company. Many have said that Banks and Naomi were in the right for the walkout, or at least that WWE is wrong for how they've handled it, and now AEW's Britt Baker has weighed in. Speaking to Forbes, the former Women's World Champion discussed Sasha Banks and is all in when it comes to a match with the boss. Since it's a pretty hot topic right now, I'm going to say Sasha Banks. I think she's one of the top draws in all of WWE. She's such a superstar, she's such a good wrestler, she's definitely somebody that I would love to wrestle. Baker may want a match with Banks, but that all hinges on both women being in the same company at the same time. With Baker being treated very well in AEW, it's unlikely she'll leave, and with WWE understandably hesitant to release Banks given her star power and risk of going to AEW, this match will have to remain a dream bout for the wrestling dentist. Throughout his 3-decade career in WWE, The Undertaker left many superstars feeling afraid, but there is one unique item that always had the dead man quaking in his boots. Fans may know that The Undertaker is afraid of cucumbers, as the long green fruit holds some kind of power over the recently inducted Hall of Famer. Appearing on the latest Wives of Wrestling podcast, The Undertaker's significant other, Michelle McCool, discussed her husband's phobia and how it all came about. "We can't even have one in the room. Every birthday, our daughter Kaya gets cucumbers. She'll put them under his pillow. She'll put them in his car. Cucumbers, he can't even smell them, can't even be around it. He ate so many cucumbers one day that he got sick, and ever since then, it was just game over." While the dead man has had a legendary career worthy of his Hall of Fame induction, it's the simple cucumber that has his number, though this was thankfully never incorporated into any of his storylines as a WWE superstar. When you think of Rob Van Dam, you probably think of a laid-back wrestler whose WWE promos consisted of cool and whatever and always seemed relaxed. While RVD may be a laid-back dude, that wasn't the case during a 2004 live event, as Rene Dupree explained on his podcast this week. Speaking on Café de Rene with Paul London, the former tag team champion discussed the November 21st, 2004 event in which Hardcore Holly instigated a very real-life fight with Rene. "I just remember you taking one breath like, thank God that shit's over. What a nightmare," London said. And then it's like, wham, cheap shot through the curtain from behind, kept on you. In less than a minute, Van Dam hopped on, pulled Bob off that's enough, get the fuck off of him, that's enough. For however people want to look at Van Dam, he's a legit tough guy. He did a lot of tough man tournaments, he knows his shit, so nobody was gonna mess with him. I remember specifically, we were just in shock. Everybody was like a deer in headlights, holy London went on to say that John Laurinaitis said Holly had acted unprofessionally and promised Dupree that this would not happen again. RVD was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame last year, but only after Vince McMahon learned he wasn't already a member, and the former world champion proved to be just as resourceful breaking up fights backstage as he was in the ring. Now in WWE, there's no shortage of titles around which are defended across the various brands of the company. It's been a while since WWE introduced a new title, but a WWE and Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer is calling on the company to introduce some new gold. On Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray said that a title should be introduced that has to be defended every single week and would show off the workhorses on the roster that often get overlooked. Bully christened his idea the Iron Man Championship, though we imagine this name would confuse fans who would expect it to be defended in Iron Man matches. The tag team specialist even had some suggestions for the first champion, saying that either Ricochet or Ciampa would make a great Iron Man champion, as they can certainly go in the ring. Ultimately, the decision regarding a new title would be up to Vince McMahon, but with WWE wanting to win back live fans, the prospect of an exciting title change each and every week isn't the worst idea. And we're ending today with the AEW and New Japan crossover show Forbidden Door, and not long after it was announced, it was reported that the all-women's promotion Stardom is looking to get in on the action. New Japan officials stated earlier this month that an AEW Stardom show is a possibility, and Thunder Rosa is already packing her bags. When asked about competing in Japan at a potential crossover event, the AEW Women's World Champion told the Battleground podcast that she would have no problem defending her title in Japan, but that it's not up to her. That's a question you have to ask my dear boss, Mr. Khan. I mean, if it's up to me, I'll be like, Tony, I'm gonna get a ticket to Japan, I'm gonna go and defend the championship, right? I mean, I would love to be a worldwide champion. At this time, an AEW Stardom event hasn't been confirmed by either promotion, though Stardom does reportedly want both Rosa and Britt Baker for an event at the end of 2022, so time will tell if the reigning Women's World Champion competes in Japan this year after all. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.